Well, our next guest returned to Montreal yesterday after visiting family in Lebanon. Joe Abou-Malhab is a Lebanese Canadian and joins us tonight from Montreal. Thanks for being here.
Hello, Travis. Thanks for having me.
Joe, I want to start with how you're feeling after hearing of the latest Israeli military strikes on Lebanon.
It's definitely horrible. I think myself, just like many Lebanese people, whether here in Canada or everywhere in the diaspora, feel the same heartache. It's something that's not new to us, but the intensities of the attacks yesterday and the day before is just unparalleled.
You landed yesterday, and I know that you were traveling when this was happening. How did you find out, and what went through your head when you found out?
Well, Travis, I was boarding my flight from Beirut while I was watching the news on my phone, getting notifications of the attacks that were starting in different areas in Lebanon. And then landing in my layover, I saw more information about more strikes even, and the death toll starting to rise. Once I reached Montreal, I was flooded with messages of people making sure I'm safe or my family's safe. And then I saw the death toll that was, I think at the time, around 400. Now it's more than 550. It's definitely something that is suffocating to a lot of us, even if we're not in Lebanon. Yeah. Whether we have family in Lebanon or not, it's something that needs to stop.
Suffocating, you say. How are your family doing? And tell me a little bit about their situation right now in Lebanon.
Thankfully, my family is safe. They are currently in a safe area. However, as you probably know, Lebanon is a very small country. You might be living in an area and then working in another, like Beirut, like most Lebanese. I would say that no one feels safe, even if they are in a relatively safe area. People are also very worried about any repercussions that may be caused by the war. As you know, Lebanon has been plunged into an economic collapse since 2019. So the war might also bring a lot of shortage of medication, food, and internet, which is something that's very, very worrying to a lot of us here in diaspora, to be potentially cut off from our families back home.
So what happens if this conflict escalates? Does your family that is plan to leave?
My family, like many other Lebanese families, they have many obligations back home. And this is the reason why they haven't left yet. I think it's very easy for us to think that families back in Lebanon, once they get a message from the embassy, they can pack up their things and leave. But what if a family has financial constraints, for example? Mm-hmm. And as I said before, in an economic collapse, a lot of families might not have the means to even buy a ticket or even come and start from scratch here without any income. I feel for a lot of these Lebanese families that are waiting for this to calm down, not because they don't want to leave, but really their options are probably very limited.
So what would you like to see the Canadian government do to help with this situation?
I believe the Canadian government needs to work on two fronts equally, tackle them at the same time. First front has to be political. I think we all need a lot of thoughts and prayers at this time, and it's something that is very important. However, I think that the Canadian government needs to work on holding Israel accountable for its numerous war crimes that it's committing against the Lebanese and Palestinian people. At the same time, the Canadian government, along with its Western allies, need to ensure that Iran does not use Lebanon and other countries in the region as tools to increase its leverage on the negotiating table with the United States. And both of these points will also help reduce the mission, or reduce the complexity of the mission of bringing Canadians back home. The second front is, I think we owe it to ourselves as a nation to not leave any Canadian back in a place where they are in danger. I think as a nation we have a lot of values that we stand for, and leaving our compatriots behind is really not one of them.
Let me just ask you before I let you go here about the fears of a regional conflict and the fact that this could potentially lead to that. Is that your biggest concern right now?
I think my biggest concern right now is my family, my loved ones, and my country. I think we are currently in a very big war. To put this into perspective, in 2006, the cumulative death toll over 33 days was around 1,200 people. Yesterday alone, the death toll was 500 people, almost half of this number. The war is pretty much here in Lebanon. If it escalates into regional war, I think all of humanity is scared as to what may unfold from this.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Joe, appreciate your time. I know that this has got to be an emotional conversation for you, but really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here on Canada Tonight.
Thank you so much, Travis.
That is Joe Abou-Malhab. He is a Lebanese Canadian who has family in Lebanon.